After Stefon Diggs made accusations against her and Lil Uzi that could destroy their relationship, JT is going crazy, everyone. However, Cardi B's criticism of her most recent album was the catalyst for this. JT is not just shaded but also hinted at that Uzi may be gay in secret. Under JT, that was more than sufficient to start a fire. The social media exchange between her and Cardi quickly descended into violence. JT made the decision that she would not accept it passively. She accused Stefon of being secretive and even another man, so she went to the juggler and pulled Card's entire man into the mess. However, Stefon didn't. Keep quiet. Reversing the story, he said that Uzi had been cheating on JT with a trans woman and leading a parallel life. JT did not take it well at all, since she has been seriously cheating on Stefon. This issue is going to get worse than we ever imagined, everyone. Let's dissect it completely then. When JT said, "act up," I suppose she wasn't kidding. I can tell that JT wishes she had never come for Cardi now, since she is being severely ridiculed on social media, so you might end up getting banged up with the city gals. She attempted to attend Card's relationship, but she was unaware that Cardi and Stefon were somehow involved in all of her affairs. And the details are hot as hell, everyone. Well, it all began when Cardi made disparaging remarks about her new album, which were obviously directed at JT. Before you all accuse Cardi of being petty and attempting to stir up trouble for no apparent reason, or just to gain influence, let me remind you that JT and Cardi have been at odds for a while. And it was all because of the Nicki versus Cardi feud, as you might anticipate. JT sided with Nicki. Additionally, there has been conjecture that JT pursues Cardi in an attempt to win Nicki over. Cardi undoubtedly thinks so, as she frequently calls JT Nicki's lapdog and even once orders her to go fetch. In her single magnet, Cardi reiterated the same remarks and disparaged JT's partner, Uzi. In the song, she said, "You were shady at B. You've been trash since birth. Your mama didn't want you. Brenda's baby bought a feeder at B. All that D riding still ain't got no features. Abby B, she got a ninja. She be sharing bags with my ninja, but I don't stick no D in his beat. You look a hot mess. Easily impressed as B. You never gave looks. You just started getting dressed. Dad beat Ricky over only fashion house. You should have asked me. I would have took you to the little show. Pete." Although Cardi had a lot to say about JT, it's obvious that her remarks about Uzi truly affected him, since she went on to attack Cardi's new baby daddy, Stefon Diggs, accusing him of being gay and someone who is different from him. Men. To be fair to her, though, she was quoting a fashion stylist named Chris, so her assertions weren't made out of the blue. Recently, a video that showed Chris being cornered by 3 men in an elevator as he was leaving was leaked by TMZ last year. However, the big twist was when the audience began to piece things together and discovered Diaz Diggs, the brother of Stefon Diggs, was one of the assailants. And that realization abruptly changed the subject, bringing Stefon's name into the tangle and posing queries concerning the potential for turmoil inside his circle. Interview. Stefon was accused by Chris of trying to assassinate him and getting him jumped when he refused. Since then, Stefon has been investigating and refuting claims of a contract. The fact that there have been numerous blonde items claiming that he is purportedly on the DL surely doesn't help either. This one, for instance, stated, "The current lover and the previous A-list female rapper share a lot of similarities. They have both been accused of having feelings for males they found attractive. The A-list NFL star is aware that everyone talks about him with males," according to another blonde item. Why does he make sure to get pictures of women flinging themselves at him? Thus, the NFL athlete is now accused of essaying guys after hooking up with the divorced A-plus rapper during her pregnancy. As a result, Miss JT chose to retaliate against Cardi. You would assume that a woman dating a man with DL charges would have something in common with him. She wouldn't exactly want to exploit having DL as a gotcha moment, would she? After all, who's dating a man who has DL allegations as well? That's just what she did, attempting to utilize Stefon's sexual orientation as a gotcha moment. See, Chris recently claimed in an interview with Jack Wright that Stefon attempted to kill him because he rejected his advances.
Attempted to have me unalived because of him making a pass at me. It wasn't the pass that frustrated me the most. What made me most frustrated was the fact that he tried to unalive me after it, when in reality, even though I was violated, I never thought that the next step would be my life being threatened because you got turned down. But it's that power complex of wanting what you want when you want it, feeling like you own the things that you...
A's. I mentioned before, JT was attempting to use this when she exclaimed, "This is effing nuts. Gay men should be protected," he stated. "I believe that not enough attention is being paid to this." Okay, so she didn't stop there, as she continued by claiming that Cardi B is gay, not because of the way we dress or communicate, but because Chris really said it. Chris deserves justice. Additionally, I joined the LGBT community. However, it's intriguing that she claimed that this was about addressing and expressing oneself because she was obviously attempting to defend Uzi because, as you are all aware, people will come out and discuss Uzi and his self-expression because he might come off as a little zealous at times. However, someone attempted to respond with a photo of Uzi holding a pocketbook and a frock, as you might imagine. However, JT said, "Yes, my man does this," while standing 10 toes down behind him. He inspired his generation, worked hard, took care of his family, didn't catch or snatch ads, and kept his mouth shut. He was Tiny Uzi because of his style. At the moment we are discussing Chris, pay attention. As you are all aware, Cardi does not tolerate teasing about her name, and she produced the receipts that demonstrate the potential instability of JT and Uzi's relationship. JT stated in the text, "I don't want to fly up there ill and cranky. Then I beat you up after you lose your temper and curse me out. It's excessive." And Uzi said, "I invited you, so I want to." Then JT said, "I have to go to work. Come on over here. If we still get along after we leave Miami, I'll come." "You think I've ever been through this?" Uzi responded. "Tell the truth. T adore this. You cherish me." JT chose to make fun of him, adding, "You, ow. You make me evil, for whatever reason. I don't behave in this manner." However, Uzi then revealed something shocking. "You're angry with me." "Yes, but it's only because you're pregnant that you get even more irritable. I want justice for them babies. Your man makes you remove them every time," Cardi wrote as a caption. Find out what he told me about his feelings when he was hoping to see Britt in the courtroom, but she didn't appear. Should I play the audio instead? Don't let me tell you what he said about Rock Nation either. Simply unappreciative. We anticipated that gag would be the most outrageous, but we were completely mistaken about it, everyone. Stefon revealed that Uzi was on the DL himself the next thing we knew. Stefon claims that Uzi was cheating on JT with a trans lady for years in addition to being on the DL. And despite apparently being aware of the affair, JT decided to stay with Uzi since she relies on him for her meals, and mostly for financial support. Not Stefon making fun of JT since, as I mentioned, she likely wishes he hadn't spoken up and caused the issue. First of all, even though Stefon's assertions are outrageous, there have long been rumors around this. Do any of you recall the altercation between JT and Sukihana from last year? Additionally, Suki stated that similar thing in her song. "But you're not a scammer," Suki remarked. "Out of TJ Maxx, you were boosting? So what, see? You must make use of your W." When you say that you appear like a trans person, you are telling the truth. Because you appear to be a male, your ninja only fucks with you. Oh, girl with a potty head. You're removing lines from a ninja's ass. "I know who I am," she added. "As soon as it came out of another ninja's butt, you girls were sucking D and getting seated. You have forgotten your origins, dirty foot girl. But every time you see me, you want to beat the living daylights out of me since your ninjas were your thong. Suki is crazy, everyone." However, the joke is that JT has consistently gone above and beyond to demonstrate everyone thinks that everything between her and Uzi is wonderful and that everything is sunlight and strange roses. However, a number of people have come forward to claim that he cheated on her. However, JT consistently denied it, stating, "As long as Uzi and I have been officially, when it comes to women, It has always been fiction rather than actuality. You all really want him to cheat. He isn't. Actually, I was upset over a very trivial matter. However, it was quick for JT declared the split on social media, writing, "Watching someone change on you and pretend to be completely unaware of what they were doing is really the worst feeling ever." This caused them to split up. The nicest thing about being betrayed repeatedly, though, is that it makes you stronger. This screenshot of a song that reads, "I don't like men," was also posted by her. "Beast doesn't appeal to me. I dislike everyone." Additionally, there were reports that she had cheated on Uzi with Eminem. Additionally, an unnamed source revealed the truth, stating, "This is a blind item. One of my friends is employed at the City Girl camp. She told me that during JT's time in North Carolina, they had dinner together. She became frustrated and started skulking around with Slim when JT and Uzi were out, and he started acting like himself." While Uzi has been acting emotional and unfaithful for some time, it appears that he has been paying for her services for a few months. However, it didn't stop there. Since last year, his personal affairs were made public via Manor Queen, one of his side projects. Additionally, there have been allegations that Manor Queen is transgender. Additionally, she stated that there was a rumored relationship between her and Uzi. Interview 10.
Que hablabas con Lil Uzi en específico. Hay una persona que lo conoce a él, que me conoce a mí, que sabemos de ti. Y él me dijo que él tenía algún tipo de interés en ti, además de los besos que pasaron. ¿Tú no sientes que por tu comportamiento lo alejaste?
Y nada, en verdad ahí fue que yo le gusté más a él. Me dijo, wow, Lil Diamond. Pero yo hablo con él, por aquí se oye, Tom.
Llámame por WhatsApp. Llámame por WhatsApp.
Tú sabes, los tigres se meran. Si no te hablan en español, los tigres americanos no corren.
The most absurd aspect, though, is that Lil Uzi has been working extra hard to maintain this little hidden affair. In order to speak with her, Ward on the streets has been making an effort to learn Spanish. He doesn't know Spanish and she doesn't know English. Apparently, though, that didn't deter him. He was so desperate and confined. He began speaking Spanish to keep the discussion going in an attempt to deceive. People were shaken by that alone because it gets considerably messier. Additionally, she asserted that Uzi would always chat sexily to her during their hookups, demonstrating the lengths he would go to in order to maintain their relationship.
Me decía, I love you, baby. Y yo,
En inglés, no importa.
Word pup. FA claims that Matter Queen and Uzi had been dating for a long time, and as long as Uzi claims her, JT simply lets it happen, not using Manor as his man bawang in public. However, because JT came for Cardi in the hopes that she could shake the situation, she is now back in a situation from which she may not be able to recover. Table. However, it appears like Cardi and Stefon completely turned the tables on her, ruining her relationship in the process. The invoices, the gossip, the trans girlfriend, and the side ladies are all contributing to the perception that JT is no longer in charge, despite her best efforts to defend Uzi. However, it's getting difficult for her to maintain the ideal relationship act she's been selling for years, because every time she tries to clap back, it feels like more dirt comes out. Additionally, fans are now questioning whether JT is truly supporting her partner out of love, or whether she is only holding on because Uzi is her key to the way of life she doesn't want to give up. As if everything couldn't get any messier, the Ward in the street says that JT's ordeal might not be ended yet because Stefon might still have more receipts to release.